Could Floyd Mayweather beat the Canelo of today? So prime Floyd Mayweather against prime Canelo today, who would win? Now, obviously this is just my opinion. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty certain. I think Mayweather would beat the Canelo of today. Reason being, not just because Floyd Mayweather beat the young Canelo, and I know people are going to say, well, the Canelo today is a completely different fighter. He's much more evolved. He's got a better defense. He's more powerful. He's this, he's that. And I agree with that. But I still don't think the Canelo of today could outsmart, outbox, stop, knockout, beat. I just don't think he beats prime Floyd Mayweather. I think prime Floyd Mayweather is the closest thing to, I mean, of course any fighter can be beaten, and there's some fighters throughout boxing history that I think would have beaten Floyd Mayweather, but I just don't think Canelo's got the style, and I just don't think he's, I don't think he's got the reflexes, right? Canelo's an unbelievable fighter, so I'm not taking anything away from Canelo. I just can't see how he'd beat Mayweather. Even looking back at the fight that they had when Mayweather outboxed him, outsmarted him, as good as Canelo is, if there's anything that he lacks, I don't think he's not sharp enough, he's not quick enough to be able to hit Mayweather clean. And Mayweather's defence, let's be honest, it's better than Canelo's defence. Even the Canelo of today, who's got an incredible defence, he's a brilliant fighter, right? He's an elite pound for pound, one of the best, but I just don't think he beats prime Floyd Mayweather Jr. And you can kind of see that by going back and looking at the fight. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but that's not the Canelo of today. I know of that, but it does give you some idea. And, you know, Mayweather's just on a different level. You know, he really is. And Canelo still gets hit today, you know. All the fights that even though he's been winning fights really easily, it looks like it's just a sparring session, he's still getting hit, you know. Billy Joe Saunders still landed clean. You know, the fights that Callum Smith landed a couple of clean shots on him. You know, he does get hit. Golovkin landed loads of clean shots, and I don't think Golovkin as well could lay. He couldn't. I don't think Golovkin could beat a prime Floyd Mayweather. I don't think these guys can do it. The only fighters that I can think of that I think would have had a chance, would have beaten Mayweather, is prime Thomas Hearns and a prime Sugar Ray Leonard. And yeah, they're the only fighters that I can really think of. And maybe a prime not junior, senior. And maybe a prime, I can't really think. It's really hard to think of. I can't think of any fighters outside of them, but I just don't. Even Terence Crawford, I don't think Terence Crawford would beat him, or Errol Spence. If Pacquiao couldn't do it, Pacquiao is personally my favourite fighter of all time. Maybe if they fought a few times, Pacquiao might win one, but Mayweather's just too good. He's just too defensively intelligent. He's so smart the way he sets traps, and I just think he's got better hand speed than Canelo. He's got a better jab. So how's Canelo going to beat someone who doesn't hardly get hit? He hardly gets hit clean. You know, to the point where we've got to go through loads of different fights and go, well, Mosley caught Mayweather clean. De La Hoya hit him, or Pacquiao hit him, or Castillo hit him. Yeah, they hit him, but they still couldn't beat him. They couldn't hit him consistently enough. Where I still think that prime, if we could get in a time machine, prime Floyd Mayweather Jr. against prime Canelo Alvarez, who's the Canelo of today, 2021, I think that guy can beat Mayweather over 12 rounds. I think Mayweather wins another unanimous decision. He wins on points. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be a very difficult fight, and Mayweather's going to have to be at his best to beat the new evolved Canelo of today. But I still think he beats him. Even if he just wins by 2 points or 2 rounds or 1 round, I still think Mayweather will find a way. He's the best at doing it. He's the best at. And you know, and I'm not like the biggest Floyd Mayweather fan, in all honesty. There's other fighters that I prefer, but I've got to be honest, and that's what I always try and do on any of these videos. Or if I'm in a conversation with someone offline, I just don't see how Canelo, and I don't believe, you know, Canelo would knock out Mayweather. People say these things, but, you know, based on what? You know, based on what? You know, yeah, Canelo's beaten all the fighters of today, and you've got to give him credit. But we have to be honest, they're not Mayweather. That none of the fighters that Canelo has beaten post the defeat to Mayweather, even though I'll give him credit, he's looking unbelievable. Canelo's gonna, if he continues, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. Certainly one of the greatest Mexican fighters. But still, who has he beaten of recent who's better than Mayweather? No one. He's not. You know, Billy Joe Saunders is not better than Mayweather. That's obvious. Callum Smith's not better than Mayweather. Yildirim's not better than Mayweather. Golovkin's a brilliant fighter, right? And a lot of people really believe Golovkin won the first fight against Canelo. Some people think he won the second. But as good as Golovkin is, Golovkin's not better than Mayweather. And I can keep going down that list, you know, some great fighters. You know, Canelo beat Cotto. Cotto's a great fighter, but he's not better than Mayweather. Mayweather beat him. So that's the reason for me, you know. I think, you know, that there's, yeah, Canelo is more powerful than Mayweather. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't win fights. That doesn't always, well, it's winning the fights lately. But most people that Mayweather went in were more powerful than him. They were more physically stronger. They punched harder, but they couldn't win for one reason: they couldn't hit him clean. And I think that's my basis of my argument as to why I don't think the prime Canelo of today beats prime Mayweather. If we could get in a time machine and put them in the same ring and give them a fair fight, I think Mayweather always comes out with a point to win. And I don't think Mayweather could stop Canelo as well, like he didn't when he was younger. He couldn't be able to stop this Canelo, because this Canelo's just got such a good chin. But I still think he hits him more cleaner, and he's able to block and do the thing he does, the shoulder roll and get out of the way. He's not going to get hit too many times, and he's going to be even more, he'll be even more conservative with the punches that he throws, being that he would be in with a better Canelo. So let's just imagine it. The old Canelo, Mayweather took him to school. It was like master against student. Now Mayweather would be getting in with a Canelo who's evolved, who's much better than the one he beat. He'll up his game. He'll tighten his defence. He'll be more smarter, and he comes away with a victory. But look, let me know your thoughts, because that's just my opinion, right? And I could be wrong. We're never going to know. We're just speaking hypothetically. And I can see an argument as to why many people think that the Canelo of today, prime Canelo, would beat prime Mayweather, because Canelo's IQ has improved, his power, his whole boxing ability, his defence is massively improved. So I could see that, but I still don't agree with it, and I still come back to my decision. But let me know in the box below what your thoughts are. This would make a really good conversation. I can't wait to see what people are going to say. And look, if you think Canelo would win, please explain your reasons. I appreciate your opinion. That's what this channel's about, opinions, and let's talk boxing. And if you think Mayweather would win, you agree with me, tell me how you think Mayweather would win, why. Let's have a real breakdown here. Let's see what we come up with.